Namaste, beloveds. This is Mother with Wisdom, and it's been a while, but this is a very special video. It's coming at a time where I am really starting to come out of my shell a little bit more. I'm starting to heal a little bit more. It's also coming from a deeper place of knowing. And so I'm going to title this video, Knowing a Way. And I just want to say that a lot of times we feel lost and we feel alone because we don't have a way forward, or we can't see a way to manifest what we want to bring into fruition. And excuse me for playing. I'm just going to read it, beloveds, okay? Just going to read it. I fell asleep wide awake, like I am known for doing. Grandmother was there to greet me there on the other side of my spiritual conscious awareness. "Greetings, child," she said, with a lilt of anticipated glee in her voice, which surprised me, but which I was ready, willing, and able to flow into without effort, because it was much more expansive and alluring of an energy, frequency, and spectrum than her normal lessons of life, living, and being, seen through her wisdom, which is my matriarchal blood lineage manifested into flesh so that it can be born. B-O-R-N-E. Beloveds, basically, when I break that down, I have an ancestral spirit or guide who comes forward. She is ancient, and she is known to me as grandmother. And she comes when I have been brokenhearted, when I am sad beyond my normal melancholy. She comes when times are changing, when I am changing, when I'm getting ready to go through another metamorphosis or transformation, spiritually, internally, intuitively, concerning my spiritual gifts through my matriarchal lineage. So she's always been there, and if you've been following me, you will have heard of grandmother before. She's come a couple of times before with some of her wisdom and some of her ways, and I am just now beginning to understand the importance of the word way. And let me keep going and you'll understand why. She took me by the hand as we walked down the lane of cherry blossom trees in full pink bloom, scenting the air and the atmosphere with this reverent promise of juicy sweetness with just a hint of tart. Grandmother giggled. Something rare to behold. The childlike glee of whatever she was thinking and imagining, taking hold of the moment in order to add joyful suspense. My heart quickened, and I got unconsciously even more excited to see where we were going, because I had no memories of her bringing me here before. The path led to a beautiful wooden cottage, complete with a freshwater spring beside it, all kinds of flora and fauna, at peace, just being present in the present, the moment. Grandmother made a lyrical note, a sound, like some beautiful bird of paradise, to announce our arrival, and the door swung open all of its own accord, welcoming us inwards. There was a beautiful fireplace that took up a whole wall and was big enough to walk through, almost as if it was a portal or a doorway to another world, or another way, as I was about to find out. Through another doorway, A beautiful ancient woman shimmered into the room, as iridescent as a dappled sunbeam. She floated to grandmother and hugged her, as if it had been so long since, S-E-N-S-E, slash, since, S-I-N-C-E, she was able to touch her, as if it had been so long since she was able to touch her. She held on for a while, smiling with her eyes closed and emitting a beautiful humming sound, sounds that mothers make to soothe and comfort their children who are fretting over nothing. I saw parts of my grandmother dissolve within this woman's embrace, which frightened me with awe at her ability and power to absorb, eat, consume, and transmute energies with just her love as an extension of her passionate nature to nurture. Grandmother seemed lighter and brighter as the woman drew herself away. As she steadied my grandmother by holding her shoulders, she pressed her forehead to my grandmother and said, "Speak to me, my daughter. Give me your burdens." Who was this being to say such a thing to grandmother, I wondered. Grandmother reached over and thumped me gently, reminding me that my thoughts and my feelings were shouting and running wild again, and I reined them in instantly as I blushed. The woman smiled and did not even blink at the exchange between us. Grandmother took my hand and brought me toward unto the waiting embrace of this woman, whose arms enveloping me felt like heaven, a place without gravity or seriousness, just loving the ability to be. It was so awesome. I was instantly without thoughts. As grandmother said, "Child, this is a way. She is mother to all mothers," which of course blew my mind even further as I looked up and into her eyes to see the unending sparkling depths of her awareness and wisdom. I gasped in my eagerness to receive her exchange of divine, alchemical, hormonal exchanged energies through our embrace. She smiled at my impulsive, pure response and reaction to her spiritual frequency of intensity. She leaned down and touched her forehead to mine as grandmother stood behind me and placed her hand on my back between my shoulder blades. I felt a humming vibration pulse through me as though something very old and ancient had been turned on again after being turned off for a very long time. She spoke in a voice that was like many babbling brooks in its soft poetic tendencies of fluidity. As a projector, it is important to be conscious that first you are a receiver, a natural conduit, a hollow reed, planted in the marsh waters of early development, dependent upon the sun, but drawn to the relativity of the moon. You must learn to adjust to the properties of the gold and silver qualities of the elements that will flood your being to be refined and transmuted in the translation of your higher thoughts and feelings, which will be necessary for where you are headed upon this new path. Time, who is my youngest sister, will walk with you through the coming seasons. Know that when the darkness comes, as it will, the way to the light is always within. Your deepest, highest consciousness, which is always present, even in your most unconscious state of sleeping and feelings and thoughts of separation. Adjust yourself to being away. Many are the solutions. Unknowable are the number of ways. You are but one of the collective, but each symbolizes and represents the whole. None are more important or less important. That is a manipulative trick, a test of the lower mind to lure you back into a lower realm dimension frequency, spectrum of knowing in order to control your being the way. The past can no longer hold you simply because you only now know who you are and exactly what you are capable of being. Your opportunities to expand your spiritual consciousness are infinite. Your mortal potentiality is yours to conceive, to give birth to, and raise up as you see fit, with unconditional love, as you have learned to process it and harness it as your greatest source of divine will. Whenever the bombardment of doubts began to penetrate your atmosphere, to test your levels and capacity for more change, and to receive more spiritual charge, remember, you are away. Away. You are away. And all will have to submit to your authority in the way of the will, being the will of the way. I welcome you home now, child. And she removed her forehead from mine, as grandmother removed her hand from my back. And I opened my eyes, conscious of the tears flowing down, and the love and happiness that is filling my entire being with this new spiritual conscious awareness, giggling, awash with curiosity as to all ways, a way of knowing. And that was written by Valerie Ames Middlebrook, Mother with Wisdom, and my new name, Away. Away is a collective. It is a collective of beings. It is elective, not beings. Let me stop. It is a collective of energy beings. Energy beings that take on many forms, that how can I say, that you tap into this frequency and this spectrum in order to find solutions, in order to ground yourself deeper in your knowing of who you are, and that you are never outside of a way of change and choice and being and expanding your spiritual conscious awareness. Whatever situation, whatever circumstance is taking place, be still and see the way. Find a way in it. And let that way speak to you. Let that way communicate to you. Become one with that way. And by doing that, you're able to manifest what you need to manifest. You're able to change what you're able to change. You're able to bring healing instantaneously by knowing, being comfortable and being confident in the fact that there is always a way. Always. There is always a way to the light. No matter how dark, no matter how dim, no matter how depressed, no matter how bloody, no matter how beaten, no matter how bad you feel, no matter how tired you are, there is a way. There is a way. Find and ground yourself in that way and let it speak to you. Let it lead you. And this was the lesson that the grandmother granted me. I guess I was ready for it because my monkey mind I've learned to discipline it and still it and not be so led by it like a dog with a collar going for a walk. Oh, we want to go over here. We want to think this and we want to feel this and no, we don't. No, we don't. We don't. And so once you're able to know that this is a way of being, that you're able to do this, you're because you're part of this way. You're no longer part of the way, the collective that is on a doggy leash, ran by its feelings and thoughts, and can be triggered like this. You know to breathe and find the way and listen to the way, not your monkey mind. Your monkey mind is entertaining, but that's all it is entertaining. Your spiritual mind is the truth. Your spiritual mind will help you manifest the spectrum and frequency that you want to radiate and that you want to draw to you. And it'll help you build your kingdom here on earth as you need to. So, beloveds, know that there is a way, always, and that once you begin to expand your spiritual conscious awareness, that is the way to a way. Being away, always being away from the chaos, away from the gossip, away from the forked-speared tongues, away from those that want to hurt you, because you know that you don't take it personal anymore. It's not you that they want to hurt. It's that collective light spirit that you are part of, that you are aware of, that emanates and radiates through your nature, through your nurture, through your love, through your wisdom, through your voice, through your touch. Knowing that gives you peace. And so understand that we live in this world, this man's world, but we don't have to be a part of this man's world. Okay? We are a way out of this man's world. And that's by being spiritual. That's by being that hollow, empty reed. That's by being in that marsh. And that's by collecting those sun rays, but also knowing the relativity of the phases and cycles and seasons of the moon, and how it's going to affect you, and how the rotation of those two, and the planets, which is the Mazzaroth, universe, the galaxy, the cosmic forces, frequencies, spectrums, rays, energy, whatever you feel most comfortable calling it and identifying it with. Know that you are part of it and that the collectives are unlimited in number. And so when you hear the word Elohim, know that that is a way. But that way is, how did she put it? That way is unlimited, unnumberable. You can't number it. You can't number that way. All you can do is know that it exists and that you are part of it. And as everything else, just like atoms and particles and cells, multiply and be fruitful, as a way, you will multiply and be fruitful, and your ways will multiply, but they still come from the oneness of you. And that still is in the collective of all, and the one who is all and nothing, that had no beginning and no ending. So many ways to know this, beloveds. But the key is to get to know it. To get to know it. Not know it here in your mind, but know it in a connected mind and a connected heart. Know it in your spiritual body, know it in your emotional body, know it in your physical body, know it in your spiritual body. That this is the way. And that this way of knowing contains all other ways. And all you have to do, you don't have to be anxious. You don't have to compare, because ways are unique. Which wave is identical to another wave? Which human being is identical to another human being? Which fingerprint is identical to another fingerprint? There are too many ways for the Creator, the divine Creator, to create and express itself, herself, hisself, theyself, we self, themselves, okay, than to limit itself to one. That's why you have different colors. That's why you have different tones. That's why you have different sexes and different expressions of sexuality and sensuality. And not everything appeals or is a preference to everybody. Some things are not for everybody. Some ways are not for everybody. Find what is your way, what allows your spiritual conscious awareness to expand. What does that mean? It means to multiply and be fruitful. It means to radiate. It means to illuminate. It means to transmute what is negative, what is poison, what is toxic. It means to bring life to death. These are ways, beloveds, and these ways are not above us any longer. We have to get out of the way that we gravitated to and were taught. That way was the way of survival, okay? The way of survival took us on a very violent path. Okay? We are now, those of us who are realizing there is another way of being, of expressing, of manifesting, of creating, of curing, of healing, of loving, of giving. This is a collective. This is the collective that you need to be aware of. Be aware of and understand. Some people, some beings, they will group together because that's what they need to do. Okay? Other beings, they will stay to themselves because that's what they need to do. That's their way. So find and be open to all ways. Don't judge the ways, because all ways are going to lead back to the one. No matter which route, if it goes all the way down into the lowest of the hell frequency realms or all the way up to the highest heaven realms, it's going to do what it needs to do. That's the design. That's the divine design. And you have to trust that. And you can only trust that by knowing yourself, by knowing that within yourself, and having experienced that within yourself. I wasn't thinking I was going to do this, but I'm feeling the urge, and so I will. This is the Esther Hicks deck. Getting out of the vortex. Okay, you wanted to come. I'm gonna pull 4. One more, beloveds. Bear with me, bear with me. This Spirit Great Mother, give us what we need to speak to this. Okay. I have the power to direct my own thoughts. This is a way, beloveds. This is a way. I have the power to direct my own thoughts. Your thoughts do create the reality that you live. And one of the most exciting things about beginning the process of deliberately focused thought is that the law of attraction will bring you evidence of your improved thought immediately. And while old patterns may be hard to break, and you may slip back into old patterns from time to time, evidence of your effort will be undeniable to you. And before long, with much less effort than you spend trying to dodge negative conversations or train another into better behavior, all of your relationships will improve. Beloveds, that's conscious awareness. That's the knowing that I'm speaking to. That is the way forward, is the conscious awareness, the knowing of yourself. The next card, what number was this card? This card was 35, which is an 8. This card is 16, which is a 7. But 8 and 8 is also 16, so it's double the 8. This card is attempting to control others, attracts more to be controlled. Wow, look at this card, beloveds. Look at this card. Look at the card. Look at the eyes. Look at the glasses trying to Trying to see what you can see, okay? And how is that working? While you're trying to get someone else to see this here, these eyes right here. This is a very deep card. There's so many faces in this. Wow. Okay. It is easy to understand how you would come to the conclusion that your path to feeling good is through influencing or controlling the behavior of others. But as you attempt to control them through influence or coercion, you discover that not only can you not contain them, but your attention to them brings more like them into your experience. You simply cannot go to where you want to be by attempting to control or eliminate the unwanted. And beloveds, that's because when you focus, you have to realize that we're living in a world of polarity. And what you're focusing on, the opposite of that, is also being attracted. You cannot have one without the other. When you call one, you call them both. Okay, that is what attraction is. And so the more you focus on what you don't want, that's what you're going to have the abundance of. Because that's where your attention is, and that's what you're attracting, and that's what the universe is only giving you, what you're desiring. You're desiring what you don't want, because that's where your focus is. That's where your thoughts and feelings are at. And so that's the magnetic field that the law of attraction is. Okay, baby, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. More of what you don't want. There you go, there you go. When you figure out that you really don't want this, and you stop worrying about that and start worrying and focusing what you do want, we'll stop giving you what you don't want, but that's up to you. So this is a way. This is a way. Understand the ways, beloveds. They are innumerable. That means they are unlimited. They are vast beyond the human mind. You cannot keep up with the Creator's ways. And you'll drive yourself crazy trying to. Believe me. Okay? That overthinking, that anxiety, that all of that, that's a way. And if you choose that, that's what you're choosing, and you know what to get, you know what it is. But when you choose, no, there's got to be another way. Let's try another way. And I'm giving it to God. I ain't worried about that. My thoughts and then other ways start happening. And people, they're still throwing their little bricks at you, and you used to pick the bricks up and throw them back at them, but now you're like, that's your way. You're not even throwing it at me. You're throwing it at spirit. I don't take it personal. That's your way of fighting spirit or trying to get back at spirit, because I really ain't got nothing to do with you. But you gonna be you. Go ahead. You gotta learn too. And so I don't resent somebody their way. I'm understanding that with Donald Trump. I'm understanding that he represents a way of being that has been existing for a very, very, very long time. And that way is now under scrutiny. And that way is being called to justice. And there are many people who are still so caught up in that way that they're like, what's wrong? Why are you attacking us? What you doing? You need to leave that man alone. And I mean, I've seen black people, Asian people, I've seen them all defending this man who calls himself a white supremacist and a nationalist. But it's the way. It's the way that they're used to. That's the patriarchal way. That's the way that they support. That's the way that they know themselves. That's the way that they feel secure. Even though that way has its foot on their neck, they feel connected. You look at how the patriarchy treats its women. Look at how those Republicans, how Donald Trump, I won't put the Republican, how Donald Trump treats women. And yet his wife, she ain't finna leave him. And all the female supporters, they ain't going nowhere. Why? Because that's their way. That's the way that they know. And so, yes, they're going to defend the way that they know. And they're going to be hurt when we try to take that way away from them and say, no. You know, it's been many millennia now, okay? The world is populated, again, the old colonial system of patriarchy, of the Viking system and all of this. Sorry, but it has no place in this world where we have blended and where equality is like breathing. And we're no longer willing. Those who are searching for a different way are no longer willing to have your knee, your foot on their neck anymore. No. So you're going to have to take that off. And you're going to have to find out what to do with it and how to get along and what to do. Or, you know, you're going to have to find you another way. And there will be many unlimited ways of doing this. But this is what the grandmothers are telling us. That's what these two cards are telling us. I have the power to direct my own thoughts. Meaning I can find ways outside of the box. I can think outside of the box. I can live outside of the box. I can exist outside of the box. I can find my own way. I can think for myself. I can make my own choice based upon the knowledge of myself. What I like and what I don't like. And I've spent enough time in existence experiencing that now to kind of be able to make better decisions. But even when I make the wrong decision, as I'm sure I will because I'm still human, I know that there's always a way to rectify that and begin again and find another way. Let's go to the next card, beloved. I thought I pulled 4, but I got 5 here. Okay, Spirit. The next card number is number 3. The law of attraction assembles all cooperative relationships. Beloveds, notice how these cards are all speaking about attraction. Attraction as a way of knowing and receiving and manifesting. Okay? Please pay attention to the frequency and the spectrum. Attraction is the frequency and the spectrum that's coming from these cards. Okay? What I give you is a way, the story of a way. through the guardians and guides, to know that there are many ways. Don't limit yourself. Think outside the box. Be mindful of what you're attracting. Okay? The law of attraction assembles all cooperative relationships. This reminds me of a lot of Claude Kahn's paintings. He's a Congolese painter, and I share a lot of his paintings on my Facebook page. But pay attention to the spirits, pay attention to the thought processes, and look at that thought process. You could say it looks like a swirl, a spiral, a ram's horn, a cornucopia. There's so much there. Remember, the main key word is attraction. Okay? And when you see that signal, you know that there's an unending abundance, cycling and recycling. Okay? So, there is this vortex of becoming, a vortex that contains all the requests, all of the amended requests, each and every detail of each and every asking that has emanated from you. And the law of attraction is responding to that. The vortex is literally drawing in all things necessary for the completion of every request it contains. All cooperative components are being summoned and are coming for the completion of these creations, for the answering of these questions, and for the solutions to these problems. Ways are coming. Ways are within you. Ways are willing to be connected through your energy and frequency and spectrum of attraction. What you focus your energy on, your conscious awareness on, that is what you're going to attract. We are just learning how to do this. So when you get to thinking about exes and so forth, and they get to showing up and knocking on your door or calling and on your phone or popping up on your Facebook, understand that it was your nostalgia that attracted that energy back to you. See, if you don't want that energy coming back to you, stay out of the past. Stay out of longing, stay out of wondering, stay out of woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda, woulda, doulda. That's what brings it to you. That's what attracts it all back to you. Because what are you doing? You're trying to find another way to do what? To fix it, to make it right, to make it work, to cut it off, to find closure, to get healing. But instead of doing all of that, know yourself and just say, and when your mind goes over there and crosses that line, bring it back. Come back home, boo boo. Nope, nope, we don't go over there. Come on. And you have to catch yourself, because we're so used to dwelling on the subterranean darkness of our despair and melancholy and what causes us suffering and what bruises us and what hurts. We want to hang on to that. You got to let it go. You got to find ways to let it go. One way of finding ways to let that go is start loving on yourself. Start knowing yourself. And start expanding that consciousness. Find ways to expand that and ground yourself in that. And that's what you will attract. And everything else is peripheral. It's like clouds. It may come, but it'll pass. Just give it time. The vortex of becoming. The vortex of becoming. That was number 3. That is, when you think about it, the father, the mother, and the child. That is that number. That is the family. That is the 3. That is the Trinity. That number is very powerful. That number is a vortex within itself, as you can see. Next card is number 19, which is a 10, which is a 1. My relationships will change when my vibration changes. Beloveds, all of these cards in this deck are not about relationships, but it is so funny how this is coming, and there's something bubbling up in me. So I know by the time I get done with these cards, something will be ready to speak. So my relationships will change when my vibration changes. How deep is that? You are living in the time when fewer people will attempt the impossible task of pushing the unwanted far enough away that they will be left with only that which is wanted. It is the time when more people will come to the realization that what they have been seeking is not a change in the behavior of others or in the world outside of them over which they have no control, but instead an understanding of their own vibrational relationship with Source, over which they have complete control. Ta-da! Bam! And that's what it is. That's the way. That's the way, baby. To form that and establish and to know that relationship with the Creator, with the divine. That is the way. That is the way of all ways. That is where all ways lead to. There's an unlimited number. Up, down, sideways, crisscross, diagonal, this angle, that angle, through 1,000 millions filters. But the final destination is that relationship with the divine, with the higher spirit, with the Creator, and your identification with it, your personal, intimate relationship with that, okay? With that Holy Spirit, with the holiest of all spirits. It's the knowing, it's the seeking. That is what you're attracting. And out of everything that you think that you're looking for in relationships, at your job, with a being that you're sensually, sexually attracted to, someone that you're intellectually attracted to, you're seeking the highest, you're seeking Source. That's the relationship you want, but you're seeking it through that as a filter, as a way to that relationship. And that's what you've got to unlearn and realize that you have a direct relationship through your own spiritual, conscious, expanding awareness of yourself as a divine being, capable of unconditional love, outside of and for your thoughts and your feelings, which you've been conditioned with. So there's a lot there, beloveds, but this is what is coming. My relationships will change when my vibration changes. So when you change your vibration of what you want to attract and who you want to attract and how you want to attract Great Spirit, God, source, creator, more into your existence, more into your being, more into your knowledge, more into yourself as a way of being and identifying and relating with everything else. You have to start that relationship first with yourself. And with yourself and within yourself, that is where you find the way. That is where you start that intimate relationship. And once you start doing that, you fix your vibration, you'll start vibrating in a certain way. And those frequencies, those higher frequencies and higher spectrums, they will start homing right in on you. Boom, 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 boom. That's the way. That's deep. Vibrational relationship with source. Everything is a frequency. When you begin to know that about yourself, and when you begin to understand how your emotions, how your thoughts and your feelings, how your conspiracy theories, what you think you know, what you like, what you don't like, how all of that influences your vibration, your frequency, your spectrum. And that causes a magnetic field that attracts in more of your vibration. You have an attraction. It's a signal. And it's only going to be amplified and start bringing whatever you're thinking about. If you're doom and gloom, guess what? You're going to draw more doom and gloom to you. All your memes that you put on your Facebook going to be doom and gloom. But if you start vibrating higher, I'm a human being, but I'm getting better. I'm turning into a conscious, aware, spiritual being. Guess what happens? That's what starts coming and feeding you. And when all of that is coming, all of that other stuff gets released like poop out of your system. You're detoxing, you're flushing it out. It's your choice. Don't blame God for what you're attracting with your vibration that you create, that you keep going. You have the ways. You have the spiritual will. You have the spiritual authority. It's up to you. The last card, beloveds, is a 55, which is also a 10. And everything is always working out for me. And y'all saw me pull these cards, okay? Y'all saw me get them. Y'all saw me shuffle that deck. And y'all saw what came forward. So, you know Spirit is speaking to you. This is not of me, okay? This is us. This is us. This is what we need. Look at all those ways. Connecting with the ways. Everything is working out for me. Start knowing that. Even when it's storming outside and lightning is, you know what? This is working out for me because the grass, the ground, the earth needs that rain, and you know, the lightning is doing something to the particles in the air, and everything is working out for me. Okay? You fall down and bust your jump. Everything is working out for me. I guess I needed to pay more attention to the way that I'm going, or this shoe, or this, that, and the other. Or maybe something was about to slap me down, and by me falling, it missed. Nothing ever goes wrong Because every piece of contrast, no matter how wrong it seems to be, is always helping you to clarify what it is you do want. And that is the thing that we want you to remember most of all. The contrast, no matter how it looks in any moment, is contributing mightily to your expansion. The things that you call things going wrong in your life experience are actually only the distance between the things that are so right and your current perspective of them. And then this, your current perspective. And then you turn it around and you see all of this. How deep is that, beloveds? It's about perspective. Everything is going right for me. Everything is going wrong for me. It's up to you. It's up to you, beloveds. It's up to you. That is going to do it for this video, beloveds. And I thank you, and I thank all the guardian spirits, the ancestors, and the Holy Spirit, and God, and Jesus Christ, and everything that has contributed to the expansion of my spiritual conscious awareness. I am grateful. Every being, no matter what I endured, no matter what I feel that I suffered, no matter what I think I'm still personally suffering for. I'm only now probably can get on Facebook again because I was put in jail again. So, like I said, stop taking it personal. And know that as one thing is going that way, there are ways. Find other ways to express yourself. And understand that everything is going right for you. Just right for you. And that you have a collective of unseen beings working on your behalf at all times. Because that is the way of creation. Everything is a collective. Everything works collectively. You cannot have one without having the other. But what you magnify, what you multiply, that's on you. Know yourself, beloved. Get to know yourself. Have mercy on yourself for what you didn't know before. You can't do better till you know better. What you didn't know better, you had to get to this point in order to have the what? What that card say? Contrast. Contrast. So when somebody is giving you a hard time, don't say, why is God, why is you, their contrast. Understand exactly what that frequency, that spectrum, that energy is. It's contrast. Thank you. Thank you for the contrast. And stop worrying about that. Stop focusing on that, and that will do what? Pass away just like the clouds do. Have patience. Start practicing. Start bringing your mind back from over there. Because when you send your mind over there, your mind starts wandering over there. It's giving energies and it's saying, hey! So snatch your mind right on back over. get on over here. We in the future, we heading this way. We don't know what's over here, and so we need all of our focus. Okay, we ain't going back over there. Ain't nothing over there. So I know that's what you used to. And I know that's what you count and depend on. But let me tell you, there's other ways, baby. There's other ways. You got to come on. You got to expand. You got to broaden your consciousness. You got to allow that unconditional love so that you can tolerate the contrast, so that you're aware the difference, that the chaos is contrast to the peace, that the anxiety and the nervous and the ping pong bing 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 is contrast to the stillness. And whatever is going on, you're able to identify the way out of it, of where you want to be, outside of the realm of survival, because now you got the power. You're not even worried about death coming and killing you, because you know that's just another way. That's just another way. I'm going to miss the physical. When a loved one, yes, I'm going to miss that physical. But that's just another way. The physical dies. But the spirit and the essence, the memory and everything, that ain't going nowhere. And sometimes, like my children, they're working now. I don't get to see them that often. My daughter is way in California. I ain't seen my grandkids since last year. But I speak to them. I talk to them. They're in my heart. I deal with them. I send my presence to be with them. I'm with them. Even when I'm no longer on this earth, I'm going to be with them. Just as my mother, just as my grandmother is with me, taking me to meet away to let me know, Valerie, you are now away. This is your collective. Understand that word collective, beloveds. Understand that the individual is the individual, and that the collective is the contrast to your individuality. Seen and unseen. You're never alone. Never alone, beloveds. Okay, that's going to do it for this video. Namaste. I hope you will like and subscribe to the channel, that you will hit the little notification button so that when I do upload or do more videos, that you'll know that they're there. Thank you. I love us. Namaste.